So it looked like you guys made a lot of adjustments game to game.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably easier to do that when you play the same team twice
Yeah, right.
in a row. But a guy like Moses Brown,
Mm-hmm.
you guys went at him with Demetrio a lot last game. It looked like you went a little smaller today to try to combat that a little bit. What was the adjustment there? Because, I mean, he was a monster.
Yeah, we talked about going small even yesterday, but didn't really have a plan in place where we felt comfortable enough for it. And then some of the foul trouble today just kind of forced our hand into it. We were going to get into it at some point anyways, but kind of made us go do it a little bit earlier than we want. And we ended up playing a bunch of lineups that we've never even really practiced with. So like I told the guys in the locker room, like that was a great job of just figuring it out. Right, the circumstances were changing the whole time, and we just figured it out.
For sure.
What's the development plan for Baylor while he's here? What kind of things are you focusing on with him? And obviously he's coming in with the second unit. Like what kind of things are you expecting from him in game?
Yeah, we're replicating a lot of the stuff that he's gonna do in Boston in terms of his pregame routine and his rotations and all that stuff that sort of gets you used to playing off the bench. And he's been a soldier for it. I mean, I think for him it's like doing the same things that we would ask him to do in Boston in terms of, you know, making the right read every time on offense, whether that's the shoot, whether that's the pass, and then his rebounding. We've really been harping on him, and then obviously defensively growing him. And he's a competitor. Like I think you guys saw it tonight. Like he competes at all times.
What's he strong at right now in terms of NBA readiness, and what things do you think he still has to work on?
I think shooting and rebounding stand out. This is where he's really strong. He's just a shot maker, rebounder, physicality, competitor. Working on stuff, I think it's just reps. It's just playing. I wouldn't say it's just one specific thing that he needs to work on.
I feel like a lot of people, because he's older, and like same thing with Drew Peterson, like people are, expect them to just be ready to be in the NBA, even though they've never played at this level. Do you feel like maybe that's an overlooked adjustment, like regardless of your age or your experience, like
Yeah.
you're gonna need time?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I definitely think that happens to guys when they're a little bit older. Is like you think that they're going to be able to come in immediately and play, but the reality is like the way that the NBA goes is different than anything they've ever seen before. The other thing that ends up happening, I think, is like older guys, like or older, younger players, if you would say, still have a lot of room to develop, and I think that often gets overlooked.
And then last year, like there's been a couple very obvious success stories with Maine, like even Jordan Walsh last year spending most of the year, and now he's already playing in the rotation.
Nimi, yeah.
Yeah, Nimi and Sam Hauser, Luke. Do you feel like you guys talk about those examples with the guys? Like how often do those players actually come up in conversations? You're talking to guys like Baylor who obviously have their sights set in Boston.
Yeah, we do a thing where we try to study paths from all types of different guys and sort of show them that like it's possible. And so we go through each of those guys. We haven't done all that stuff yet, but that's stuff that we want to get to. In terms of like the Celtics players that you just brought up, we talked about that first day one. That was one of the first things we talked about is like there's a vision here, you know, and we're trying to, and this is sort of what it looks like. We give him that talk immediately.
What are you seeing from Anton through 4 games here?
Growth. I think he's playing really, really hard. I think he's showed a lot of versatility in both offense and defense, his ability to guard a bunch of different positions. And then offensively, just I think he's growing a ton and has been a great screener for us and sort of sets the table in that way. And is growing as a spacer and just wants to make the right play over and over.
What's the acclimation been like for you to this role, obviously, with Boston throughout last year? I know, what are some of your goals in this position, and you know, what has kind of Joe told you about transitioning in this role?
Yeah, I mean, I would have felt a little bit out of place if I hadn't had my experience at Summer League. I think that having that, even a 2-week experience of having to prep a training camp sort of helped me in that way. And then obviously spending the last year in Boston and understanding our term and our system and our tactics and everything that we sort of did sort of prepared me, I think, to sort of take that prior experience and then last year and sort of go into this role. And it's been fun.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. It's been fun.
Hassan got in the game a couple times tonight. He only played, I think, 18 minutes. But when he was in the game, I mean, he was contesting everything. He was blocking shots, throwing down dunks. Like, what do you see from him, or what have you seen from him since he's been here?
Yeah, he puts a lot of amazing stuff on film. Not just today, but if you go back and watch all of his minutes, he does some pretty cool stuff. I just like how hard he plays and how willing he is to do all the little things and to sort of bring energy at all times. And he knows that that's what he does, and he does it really well.
When he was at Iowa State, there's an article that came out, and he said that his goal is to, quote, dunk everything.
I would love that. That's the best shot in basketball. Everyone thinks that threes are the best shot. Dunk is the best shot in basketball.
I'm curious how you harness that while also, like, acknowledging, okay, you need to be, if you jump too early here, you're going to be out of place. Like what's the balance of harnessing that?
I kind of like letting him dunk everything if he can, and then obviously working like his touch and his growing him outside. But I think that's actually a pretty good starting point for him to understand, like, this is a way to stand out.
Got you.
But yeah, he can definitely grow in other ways and is willing to put in the work.
Sure. And then Jay Scrub obviously had the injury last year, comes back, this is his first really full season since
Mhm.
then. I know you were in Boston when everything went down, he signed a two-way, stuff like that. Like, what have you seen from him then in what was very clearly like a mentally draining moment probably for him to get to this point to be back?
Resiliency. It's not easy to go through what he went through and to sort of be at this position, and he's just resilient every single day and wants it.
Last thing for me, just JD feels like he's just dominating the game offensively, across the board. What do you think's like? Is there like a next step that he needs to take, or something that's missing for him to be an NBA player? Or is it just a matter of opportunity? Like, is there something in his game that's like, this is the thing now that he needs to figure out, and then he's ready to go?
I think he's really close, really close, and just is on a good team and like takes these opportunities and runs with it.